Welcome to the Starting Over podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is where we look at the strategies and tactics behind the game of HeroClix. In part one of our show, we looked at DC 10th anniversary and pretty much saw how baller it is. Now, this time what we're going to do is we're going to look at Marvel 10th anniversary. Just so that people out there can't say that I am biased toward one brand or another. Even though I will say, I'm a little bit of a Marvel head when it comes to my comic book reading. But I do read some DC. And I know this is going to be a little bit off topic, but do you know what really made me look at DC seriously? Because I really didn't like DC for the longest time. Mainly because I felt that really like Justice League was racist every time I saw it. Never really saw any minorities on Justice League teams, and most of the flagship figures and characters were just literally out of a comic book. They didn't relate to anything that I'm going through, and they didn't interest me much. Whereas like Avengers, there were all sorts of people on Avengers all the time. It wasn't until I ended up watching Justice League cartoon on Cartoon Network, and that writing drew me into the DC universe. And then I ended up reading, what was it? It was like 98, 99 when they rebooted Justice League. I think it was Jeff Johns or whoever it is was writing Justice League. I forgot who was writing it. And this is like right after Kingdom Come. And I end up looking at that writing, and I was like, this is excellent. And so that storytelling, as I was starting college and really like finishing high school and starting college, really sort of drew me into DC Universe. And then I got into Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern reboot really got me interested and solid into the DC Universe. When they rebooted Green Lantern, that's pretty much when they got me. The prelude to Crisis, when they murdered Sue Dibney, that was like the stamp. Like, I'm going to be reading. Like when they did that event, that's when they got me as a fan. So, but yeah, you have a guy that's been reading X-Men and Black Panther and pretty much X-Men, Black Panther, Generation X, Gen 13. What else? X-Man, Theranati for the win, and what else? There were a couple other books over the years. Oh, Bishop's book. I read that. I thought it was a hit and miss depending on who was writing it. But I mean that's been my mainstays in the Marvel universe for almost a decade. Now, Black Panther and Marvel Knights was sort of crappy. I didn't think that was appropriate. They had a whole lot of racist BS in there. Like the first series of Black Panther, Marvel Knights, like if you read the book in the beginning, the guy that wrote the series said, I thought I was going to write Daredevil, and I didn't write Daredevil, and they told me I was writing Black Panther, and I really didn't want to do it, so I just sort of thought up of this story. I was like, and they gave it to him. That's the worst part. Anyway, going on, looking at Marvel 10th anniversary, and looking at its tactical implications at the game. We see a more creative use of Avengers Initiative with #1 Captain America. Captain America starting the set, in my opinion, is sort of disheartening, mainly because we've had so many Captain Americas, and I really don't think it was a wise choice for them to put him into this set, let alone slot #1. And I mean, if you just go into HC Realms and you just put in Captain America, you're going to see like 15 Captain Americas. Like we had a drought of Captain America Then we had like, oh, there's a few Captain Americas. Then it's just like it poured cats and dogs of Captain America. This one really doesn't give us too much because he gets charge, energy, shield, deflection, leadership, 63 points. So he's not really taking tokens off anybody. He gets some impervious, exploit, and then dial, defend, and outwit with flurry, which you're not guaranteed to stay on. Now, the end 18 can be useful in a very tight end game where attack values are low, but in all honesty, it's not going to serve you unless you're playing a Bizarro World game where you start and you click the dials backward. In all honesty. You might notice there's some weird, unnecessary pauses. That's because I'm drinking water, because I'm recording this show immediately after doing the DC 10th anniversary analysis. That's how dedicated I am to your entertainment. That's just how much I love you guys. Love you, man. Anyway, moving on. Next up we have is the Hulk. Click 1 is like Bruce Banner. Then you go into what I like to call Monkey Hulk. He just leaps, climbs around, and throws stuff at you, maybe. He doesn't really... Oh, no, he can't, because he has Battle Fury. Oh, gosh. Let's just say... Actually, you know what this Hulk sort of reminds me of? It's a cheaper version of the Hulk that we got, like the first draft of Ultimate's Hulk. Because he didn't have too much charge. He was mainly like leap, climb, battle, fury, super strength. So, yeah. Is there a good chance of this Hulk promoting? Probably not. But it's okay. Next up is number 3 is The Thing. I'm a little bit Fantastic Four'd out. Just for how many Fantastic Four figures that we've had lately. But with this thing, when you start comparing him against other things that we've had lately, Galactic Guardians has this one beat by like a mile and maybe another mile. So for the fact that his special power is let me grab something, he can use Super String, give Thing a move action when he has no action tokens and is not holding an object. After action is resolved, give him a standard light object from outside of the game. So, pretty much, you gave him a power that gives him super strength, but he can pick up a light object out of the game. So, pretty much, he has, like, Rip It Up. If you don't remember that feat, go read up on it. He has Rip It Up, and I don't think it's fitting. And then, also, for how far he's moving to pick up an object outside of the game so that next turn he can attack. But oh, look, he doesn't have Indomitable. So his stats go like 10, 9, 9, 10, 9, 9. So if you know you're on your second 9, or sorry, if you know you're on your 10, and if you push, you know you're going to go down to a 9. So not really the best one. And that sort of sucks. Next up is Green Goblin. This one is actually like a tribute to the one from, I think it's like Norman Osborn from Fantastic Forces. 11 attack, 4 damage, 2 targets, willpower. Yeah, go play this. Go play this. 75 points, Thunderbolts ATA. Sorry, Thunderbolts keyword, Scientist keyword, Celebrity keyword, can Battlefield promote. Shoot, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Next up is Thor. Thor suffers the same syndrome as Captain America. He has a trait, God of Thunder. God of Thunder. Thor can use willpower. I'm going to say it one more time. God of Thunder. Anyway, you could have just gave him an Indomitable and saved yourself a slot. So I don't know. I guess they just didn't want it outwitted. But there's bound to be someone who says, like, no one can use traits. There eventually is bound to be someone that says that. Master of the Storm, opposing characters that are within 5 squares of Thor. When he hits an opposing character with a ranged combat attack, have the boot symbol until your next turn. Big whoop. Doesn't do you any good. Uh, Having running shot and pulse wave is nice. Having running shot and super strength is sort of confusing, but then having charge and pulse wave is even more confusing. And running shot and quake, the most unoptimal combination of powers that he gets is just ridiculously silly. So, yeah, not the best at 200. When you start looking at him at 100, ah, I don't know what to say. He doesn't get his trait, mind you, but impervious 17 defense, okay. Quake, running shot, his range is the only thing that's saving him, and his damage value. So, I really, I could say, it's indecisive. You really don't have to say like you need him, but the way it looks now, if you're just building a team, no. Next up is Marvel Girl. This is like a tribute back to Universe, I think. TK support. I think it was like the vet one. Now here's the thing: she's not Battlefield promoting into crap. Let's not be delusional, okay? And then they make it like really hard for her to Battlefield promote, in my opinion. But with 1 damage, no range. Oh yeah, we see Marvel Girl TKing all the objects, and guess what? She TK'd all the objects on the map and still can't Battlefield promote. So yes, don't. I hate to say it like this. Don't waste your time on this figure. You can get better figures. You're better off literally putting in a Donald Blake and an Enchantress, and you're better off paying that many more points than you are putting in Marvel Girl. Next up is Storm. This one is actually like a remake from the Danger Room. And you might be saying, like, Dark Logos, how do you know? Well, at one point in time, Dark Logos decided that he was going to get good at the meta. And so in order to get good at the meta, he decided that he was going to pretty much read up on every dial. And at one point in time, that was a way of getting good. And then WizKids decided to flood the market full of cheap hero clicks, sort of like subprime loans. And then Dark Logo said, screw that. I'm going to read cards. So anyway, stealth, range combat expert with 3 damage for 59 points. Yes, and can I please marry you? Oh gosh, it's so good. That is so good. If you don't know how to utilize that, I don't know what to tell you. Now, yes, once she gets based, definitely on click 3, yeah, she's in a world of trouble. But outside of that, she's rocking people pretty hard. X-Men team ability, helps her get back up to her mainstay. And I'll just say it, like, in all honest bluntness, she is going to do what Wasp did for an Avengers team. Folks are going to look at her and going to be like, oh, okay, I'll just go pop shot that figure real quick. But when it all comes down to it, she's going to be very difficult to tie down. When you combine her with Beta Ray Bill, that's when the excitement happens, because she won't be an easy target. You would now have to melee her, and Storm doesn't like being touched. Oh well. Moving on. This is like the first time I say, like, this is a definite buy. Next up is White Queen, number 8. She comes in with mind control leadership. I wish she had there was like a Generation X keyword on this one, because I think this one actually, I don't think this is the one. That was like the older one. I don't know if it was Universe or Explosion or Infinity Challenge. Oh, I don't know. That one it escapes me again. This one, it's not bad. It's 62 points. You can get better. If you just need cheap mind control, this is probably like some of the best mind control that you can get for cheap. X-Men TA, X-Men keyword, Hellion keyword, Hellfire Club keyword, Brotherhood of Mutants keyword. She gets around. Next up is Iron Man. And the sigh is the sigh of the brokenness that is to come from him. Adaptive armor is by far one of the most abusive traits that I've seen in the game. Definitely within the last 3 years. And you might say, well, how is that? Because, relics and all that other stuff is new and resources are new. When you talk about when you talk about traits, and first off, you just say like, okay, when traits came out, they were just saying like, oh, they have this all the time, they can't be outwitted. And I know there's been some silly traits, and you might say, how is this better than Professor X's trait, or a couple other traits that come to mind, the willpower on freaking Earth 2 Superman, all that. For the pure fact that he says there's no other figure in the game that says, because you have this X or Y or freaking A+3 attached to you, I don't take damage, or I may take at max 1 damage from you. Nothing. We've had powers that say, okay, for this 1 click or 2 clicks, I only at max can take 1 damage. We've had powers that say I don't take damage if you do this 1 obscure thing. You have powers that say like, oh, okay, I do damage to you. If you have Y, I do additional damage. Or if you do Y, I take an additional damage. But we've never had a figure with a trait that says, yippee-ki-yay, fools, I have the ability not to take damage from you because you pack something very common in the meta that will be there for the rest of the game until the effect is retired. That's what's frustrating about Iron Man, and that's what's going to make him go for high dollar cost on the secondary market. Forget his stats. His stats are great. I really don't need to even talk about that. I don't even need to mention that. It's the pure fact that at 170, at 225, and at 125, he gets his trait. And that's all he needs. If you don't have an excuse, and the thing is that his trait does not prohibit him from using relics, does not prohibit him from using resources. That's really frustrating, because that would be the only thing that would make him balanced. Guaranteed to see him at next Gen Con, guaranteed to see him at major tournaments, guaranteed to see him in the meta, because there's no reason not to play him at any point value. He does everything your team needs him to do, and he can. Yeah, like at the 125, if the 125 carries the gauntlet, big risk, way big risk, too much risk. But I would say if he was going to pack the gauntlet, it would be a partial gauntlet, and then he would have Secret Avengers ATA. Good gosh, come think of it. And now people, we are theory crafting. Secret Avengers ATA plus a partial gauntlet for cheap means that we can have like a 150, 155 at max 160 point Iron Man that is reasonable to pay for his points. That's just sad, and you're getting 5 clicks. And people will pay it. And because we paid it for Superman. And we didn't get anything close to what we're getting with this. So, 2 targets, 8 range, Psychic Blast. Yes, Superman's attacks values are a bit higher, but But overall, I really gotta say, like, this Iron Man is way too good. Way too good for what he does. Next up is Weapon X. And it's nice to have this option if you were weren't fortunate enough to get the chase from the Captain America set. Charge, Battle Fury, a Battlefield promotion into Bullcrap, but we'll get into that later. Into the cast, some Blades here and there, X-Men TA, which I don't know if it's fitting or not. Some Exploit. I think for 71 points, I don't think they were trying to capture the actual chase, but this is just more so like, hey, guess what? You didn't get them before. Here we're being nice. Here's your second chance at Weapon X, with a little bit different variances, and we're not using the countdown mechanic. Next up is the Thing, which is funny because again he's uncommon promoting into a common, but the one of higher rarity is better. Really, pretty much the one that's going to be promoting into the other version is better. This one, I will say, when you compare him to the low cost 75 point prize support thing, he is way better. This thing is way better. Charge, level attack, indomitable, 4 damage. I mean, you don't have any special powers. You don't need it. He doesn't have his trade as a Battlefield promotion. Whoop-de-dicky-do. But a solid 11 attack, 4 damage charge with super strength and Fantastic Four team ability. So I just have to say, yay. Go WizKids. This thing is baller. So we'll just add that onto our buy list. Like, make sure you get them. Pick them up. If not, see if you can adopt them. Next up is the promotion into Iron Man. And this Iron Man coming in at 101 points is okay. Running shot, in cap, two targets could be nice. Definitely in that classic meta, he can have Stunning Blow, which can make him even more dangerous. Outwit is a nice little touch. He gets energy explosion mid to late dial with some ranged combat expert and force blast. This, of course, goes back to Armor Wars with the dial, or was it? No, yeah, Armor Wars. It's a little bit of a hint of the West Coast Avengers Iron Man. It would think as if some people remember him. We used to call him Register Iron Man, but that's more of a shout out to some inside joke with a group of people I loved playing cliques with when I was in Tulsa. So to those who are listening from Tulsa, big up to y'all. Anyway, next up is Worldbreaker, and Worldbreaker. Oh man. Let's just start off at his higher point value, and then, like always, we'll move down to his lower point value. He has a special modified movement, which pretty much he can destroy blocking terrain as he moves through it, which is ridiculously strong. But he doesn't ignore hindering terrain, which is sort of silly. But oh well. His trait: he's never been this angry. Worldbreaker can use super strength. If he hits with an attack using an object, deal 1 penetrating damage to the target after action is resolved. So he pretty much makes it so you're impervious as crap. Then next is everything he sees makes him angrier. Worldbreaker can use charge and plasticity, which is pretty cool. When Worldbreaker is hit with a ranged combat attack after action is resolved, you may place him in a square adjacent to the attacker, which means you won't be side blasting him for long. Finally, he has you think you're smarter than smart like Banner. When Worldbreaker is targeted by an opponent's outwit or perplex, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled on a result of 4 through 6. He ignores that use of outwit or perplex. Yeah, I'm sort of glad that he's not an Avenger. Because if you add in Secret Avenger ATA on top of that, and so most people will be like, you have like this obsession with Secret Avengers ATA. Yeah, because it's broken. And that's, I mean, in all honesty, I just saying it up front, it's broken. It's way strong for what it does. It makes Outwit even more crap. Sorry. But after, see, here's the thing. Um, Pulse Wave ignores powers and abilities as it goes off, but it doesn't do anything afterwards. So if someone running shot Pulse Waves you, you can be like, oh, you hit me with a range attack, but I ignore all powers and abilities. Yeah, while you're attacking. Once I'm in that magical glowing vortex, yeah, I can't do anything if I'm in the vortex. Once the glow is gone, then it's every power that would go off, would go off. Now you might say like, well, what about Mystics? Mystics is an exception because they ignores team abilities. Okay, but you just pop over and just light somebody up, next turn. Uh, you would think that they would give him super strength. Uh, you would think they would give him super strength and the you think you're smart like banner. You would think they would, but they don't, which sort of sucks. Oh, well, never mind. He has super strength as a trait. Oh, your caster can read. I need to get that. Overall, at 350, he brings the pain. I think this is the first time I think we've dealt with a click that's not a colossal. That starts off with 6 damage. And so you can just pump him from there. In a 19 defense, which is pretty good. I think it's close as you can get as how high you can have as a printed defense for a non-colossal. I gotta say, at 350, for him to use charge, and he'll charge for 5. His movements really are not that good for his charge movements. When you start looking at his experience style at 250, you get a better charge and better values. I think you get the most out of him at 250 and not 350. At 150, I think you end up with a very, very interesting tie-up mechanic, but not worth it. If he was 135, I'd be like, oh, shoot, straight money. But no. 150, I don't think he's worth it for 5 clicks. Okay. Moving on to Emma Frost, number 14. You have a choice either between Mind Control Emma or Damage Reduction Emma as your battlefield promotion from previous Emma. I would say that either way, you don't really win that much. I hate to say it like that. Because Mind Control Emma gives you, you cannot hide from me. Emma Frost can use Psychic Blast in the Sharpshooter. It's sort of cool. Second mutation, and this is where you get her ability for her to go into damage Emma. It's like when this power appears, stop turning the dial. You may choose to click Emma, to click Emma Frost, or to click number 8. Emma Frost can use super senses. So pretty much if you don't choose to, she keeps having super senses, which is okay. And you stay on your outwit. But then you could go to click 8 and you get outwit 2, but you get more damage. Then you have Team Advisor. Emma Frost can use leadership and outwit. She doesn't get mind control. She doesn't get psychic blast anymore. Her numbers are, in all honesty, not as good because you're paying for that damage reduction. But you do get exploit weakness, and you still can make ranged attacks. But you're really paying for that leadership and outwit. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong power. Leadership and outwit, she gets that early on. Whoop. I'm immune to your clumsy psychic powers, darling. Emma Frost possesses Battle Fury. Yeah, she can't use her. I knew something was up with that. And can use willpower when she is the target of Psychic Blast, modify her defenses by +2. Overall, I think unless you're in very, very specific situations, it doesn't really do you any good. And this Emma is the one from Tribute to Mutants and Monsters, except she doesn't have support. Yeah, I think it's Mutants and Monsters. Alrighty. Moving on. Magneto. Best Magneto ever. Running shot, 4 damage, 11 attack, 17 defense, uh, 8 range. Beautiful. Just pure beautiful. 10 attack with Quake. And for 3 clicks, no, that's Pulse Wave. Pulse Wave for 3 clicks, then Quake. Then he goes from impervious to invulnerability to toughness to barrier. Last clicks outwit. Six clicks deep, 113 points. Yes, sir, I will pay for that. His battlefield promotion is not that good. Not that good whatsoever. Next up is Thor. And I think, one of my friends said this is actually a tribute to Ultimate Thor for the Dial, which when you start looking at it, it sort of is like Ultimate Thor. It's almost exactly like Ultimate Thor, except Ultimate Thor was like way longer and was like 187 points. But if you could, compress Ultimate Thor Dial into 7 clicks, it's pretty much close to what you're going to get. Now, you can battlefield promote real easy with him, but I don't see a reason to. Again, unless you need to stall. Having Avengers Initiative ATA it's freaking Ultimate Thor. It's Ultimate Thor. So anyway, and actually, let me look at Captain America again. That's Ultimate's Cap, except it's crappy. Yeah. Okay. All right. So. Oh, buddy. All right, I'm letting it go now. Next up is Spider-Man. Another promotion into bullcrap. Don't really like that. And overall, it's not that good. You're better off with any other Spider-Man. Definitely Lamppost Spider-Man. Yeah, definitely better. And really, it's so bad, it's not even worth looking at. Going on to Green Goblin. This is the one you promote into. I will kill the arachnid when the character named Spider-Man is on the map. Green Goblin modifies his attack value by +1 and his defense values by -1, which is sort of stupid, but he has running shot. His range goes down, but he gains Sinister Syndicate team ability. He has Dark Avengers, Hammer, Scientist, Sinister Syndicate, and Thunderbolts keywords, which, it can give you some layers of customization, but really when it comes to Sinister Syndicate, he's not doing anything for that team, really. You need like a bullseye, but it's sad. It's like you have to go back, way back into the past to get a decent bullseye that's going to give you an attack that you need, or you can try wildcarding one in. Next, he starts off with Goblin's tricks. Green Goblin can use Energy Explosion and Super Strength. When Green Goblin uses Energy Explosion, damage dealt is penetrating damage, which can be baller if you combine Bruce Banner. But it's going to be like a serious work if you trying to get that to go off with him with 5 range. So yeah, I just don't like it. Next up is Magneto, and we're gonna look at both 250 and his lower point value, which is 125. At 250. Running shot at 11 attack and 2 targets and 4 damage, with his Master of Magnetism power, which allows him to use Pulse Wave and Quake, and when he uses either and hits, attach magnetic debris onto him. I don't like it for a couple of reasons. Well, first off, you're paying 250 points starting off to get pretty much TK, Invulnerability, and Pulse Wave. You're not really going to ever use Quake. Let's be honest. Quake is not a power right now in the meta that is useful on most figures. Next up, with his two targets, I think this is from Ultimate Set that they're trying to bring back. Uh, like the one with his arms out. But anyway, the other problem that I see is that he's just going to get side blasted and punked real easily, and he's not deep enough to really take a serious psychic blast damage. Uh, having that pulse wave, having to get pulse wave or quake out means that he's going to have to get within 4 squares of someone, and really defensively he doesn't. He's not really there. He does have his trait Magnetic Debris. Magneto begins the game without the Magnetic Debris. If Magnetic Debris is attached, Magneto modifies his defense and damage values by +1. When Magneto is hit by a close combat attack and the attacker's dealt 1 unavoidable damage, after the attack is resolved, Magnetic Debris remains attached to Magneto until he takes damage from an opponent's attack. So, again, for you to get your Magnetic Debris, you have to do a running shot Quake or have someone next to you running shot Pulse Wave or Quake. I don't think tactically that's going to be that solid. Then when you start looking at his lower point value, you're starting off with a 9 attack. You're starting off with your worst attack value that you have for too many points. So I hate to say it like this, you can pass on this Magneto. If you get him, good for you. If not, okay. Next up is Storm. Running shot Psychic Blast, running shot Pulse Wave. She can use Wind Rider. Storm can use Super Senses. When she has no action tokens, she can use Energy Shield Deflection and may use Force Blast as a free action. Royal Duo, if a friendly character named Black Panther is adjacent to Storm, modify both their defense values by +1, if not already modified by this effect. I think this is one, again, sort of tribute to Mutants and Monsters a little bit when I look at the dial. She had some stealth and some other things. You know what? Come to think of it, yeah, it's probably Mutants and Monsters. There are not too many other Storms that really did what this one does. There's nothing from Ultimates that looked that good. So anyway, overall, she's a sub 100 point, lay the damage on attacker, push her to second click, and have that range combat expert or pulse wave option. I think that's where she shines the most, and I think that you're going to scare your opponent the most. She has so many keywords: Avengers, Fantastic Four, Hellfire Club, Morlocks, Ruler, X-Men. Yeah, she has options. She has a lot of options. So definitely put her on your buy list. Next up is Dark Phoenix. And Dark Phoenix comes in at 300 points. As a team, not good at 300 points. But she will be one of the best Marauders that Sinister ever saw. You have the Darkness Within. Dark Phoenix can use Super Senses, but only evades the attack on a result of a 6. It's just, it ain't bad. When Dark Phoenix KOs an opposing figure, you may heal her of 1 damage. That rocks, because you can kill people in multiple ways. Next special power is Jean's not here anymore. Dark Phoenix can use Pulse Wave and Telekinesis. Then her defensive power at the end is My Sacrifice Saves You All. When this click is revealed, stop turning the dial. Dark Phoenix can use Super Senses. When Dark Phoenix takes damage, heal all other friendly characters that share a keyword with Dark Phoenix of 2 damage. So pretty much what would kill her, you would heal off. Now also, here's some abuse for you all people. Cypher, when you go off against a Fantastic Four team, copy Fantastic Four, and then you would heal everybody 3. Also, if she's on that My Sacrifice Saves You All click. Also, what's interesting is pretty much um, her pulse wave is really good. It's just really good from when it's positioned at 300 points. Yes, it's not the best. She can hypersonic speed in, attack, and then pulse wave next, doing 5 damage. Having running shot, triple target energy explosion means again, Bruce Banner is your friend at 10 range. She just nukes crap down like so bad. Uh, 300 points for her third click where she has running shot and 16 defense. This is like, not so much. And looking at the dial, this is a straight tribute to what people wanted from Dark Phoenix, the one that you can mail away from for, I think it was Dark Phoenix or Phoenix, where we thought she had hypersonic speed and she didn't. So, I think it was like, I think there was some issue with coloring, or I may be wrong. The outwit here and there is sort of okay. It doesn't really, it's not something that you can depend on. But the really, when I look at her dial, you start banking on her at the 200 and 100 point value, but mainly the 200 point value. Mainly the 100 point value, because at 200 points, it's giving you 3 more clicks. And you do get some toughness in there, which is sort of like a downer. But your running shot and pulse wave is sort of nice. And your outwit. But definitely her big money is at 100 points. And really there's no excuse not to run her at 100 points. Because running shot, pulse wave, TK, outwit, good damage, good attack values, hypersonic speed on click 3. That you can get hit onto and just ruin your opponent. Like, if you're looking at her, the worst click for her to get on is click 3 for your opponent. For you, it's click 4, but mainly click 3, you have to look at it as time to end this. It's just time to end this. And it's 100 points, power cosmic, 5 clicks. $20 on eBay, $30 on eBay, $50 on eBay. She's just too powerful. Way too powerful. And if you really want to put it like this, you can take a step back, put a partial gauntlet on her, and then go to town. And her with the soul gem, I don't want to fight that. So anyway, definitely get her. Behold the chase shenanigans as we wrap things up, because I hate chases and micro sets. Really do. First up is Wolverine. And again, you know how I was saying like the promotion is sort of bullcrap? Well, yeah, the promotion is really bullcrap. He gets Skrull team ability and X-Men team ability, and his trait is Skrull loyalty. Pretty much says other friendly characters with the Skrull's keyword can use the X-Men team ability. Yay, now Skrull Black Bolt can also heal off of Skrull Wolverine. And Super Skrull Avengers can now get back to his better top 2 clicks very easily. Thank you, Skrull Wolverine. Cheap bastard. Next up is Skrull Infiltrator. Is his Skrull Infiltrator special power on movement. Wolverine can use charge and stealth. Yay. When he uses charge, Wolverine can use improved movement, ignore hindering. Yay. So pretty much he can move through hindering and not have a problem when he uses charge. Now, no, his normal movements, he would have to deal with hindering. But he's just like, oh, well, I'm just going to charge around and through hindering, homie. Now, for those people who play Skrulls a lot, you're going to know something quite nice with him. He has Skrull's TA, plus he starts with Shape Change, and Indomitable, and Combat Reflexes. Now, think back to classic Super Skrull from Supernova set, and you're going to know what combination of feats that you can put on him to make him one of the most annoying figures in the game. Yeah. Anyway, lastly, his defensive power is Skrull Mutant Hybrid. Wolverine can use regeneration and super senses. Like he needed that. Uh, oh gosh, 96 points. He has way too many good keywords to even talk about. Unfortunately, you're going to pay a pretty penny for him. 7 clicks deep and a wonderful dial. Behold, Chase Shenanigan shouldn't have happened. Next up is Captain America. He has Skrull loyalty. Other friendly characters with the Skrull keyword can use the Avengers team ability. Yay. Just wait for all the abuse that can happen with that. Then he has Avengers keyword, Shield keyword, Savage Land, Skrulls, Soldier and Spy, Running Shot, and Indomitable Energy Shield Deflection. He has 2 special powers, which are bringing the fight to them. Captain America can use Charge and Plasticity, which is sort of interesting because he has that on his Close Combat Expert clicks. And then Leading the Invasion. Captain America can use Leadership and Shape Change. When he uses Leadership and result of a 6, in addition to normal effects, you may remove an action token from an adjacent friendly character with the Skrulls keyword. So being able to take 2 tokens off is nice, and then being able to take a token off a higher point Skrull is even nicer. Because, I mean, that's the thing, is the second token removal is not point dependent because it doesn't say of points or less. So keep that in mind, that you can pretty much power up like a Skrull Ms. Marvel with him. Another thing to just note, that for anybody that watched like Avengers Mightiest Heroes, this is more like Captain America Secret Invasion storyline that they did. Type Captain America more so than from the comics, but again, I didn't really read too much during Secret Invasion that involved Captain America specifically, so did read some Black Panther, and that was some awesomeness. Going on to Spider-Man. Again, behold the BS that should not have been in the set. Skrull loyalty. Other friendly characters with the Skrulls keyword can use the Spider-Man team ability. Oh gosh. Now people. I'm about to explain to you why this Spider-Man is way more broken than what he should be. Imagine with me now that you have Skrull Ms. Marvel, or let's be fair, Skrull Black Bolt, and you team him up with Spider-Man, Skrull Spider-Man, and you think, this seems fun. What else can we do? To put on my team. I'm going to min-max it a little bit. Well, I can put on Scarlet Witch and then give her the Secret Avengers ATA, and then bam! Guess what? I can copy that. So now Skrull Black Bolt and Skrull Spider-Man, can't be outwitted unless they've been targeted by an attack. And they already have, like, freaking Spider-Man has super senses added on top of his Skrulls. Oh yeah, that's real great. We have Fantastic Four keyword ATAs that we can add on there. Definitely like the new Fantastic Four that gives me bonuses against people with Indomitable or Colossal or Giant. Oh yeah, I can do that. There's all sorts of things. Hey, let's just add on a League of Assassins figure on there, and now I have enhancement plus League of Assassins ATA, and none of my figures can be shot from range. There we go. Here's your sign. Way more broken than they thought of. You give a group that is already pretty good an ability that's really good with more figures so that they can copy team abilities, and then give them more team abilities to copy on top of their team abilities. If DC ever gets anything like Skrulls, watch out. Watch out. Because this Spider-Man here will just rip everything to shreds. He's going to be untouchable. Because then you have to roll for that ability, roll for Skrulls, roll for super senses. I don't think they thought this through. He starts off with Skrull Imposter. Spider-Man can use Charge and Leap Climb, which is pretty cool considering he has super strength. Then you have Zipline. Spider-Man can use Incapacitate after actions resolve. You may place one-hit character adjacent to Spider-Man, or place Spider-Man adjacent to hit character. If you do, Spider-Man may make a close combat attack against that character as a free action. This is pretty much really Lamppost Spider-Man, except better. Like Lamppost Spider-Man on steroids. So yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I hit you with Incapacitate, and now I'm going to hit you again with Incapacitate if I so choose. Or I'm going to hit you again and punch you. So the only thing I will say, there's only one click where his damage value is enough to get through Impervious and Invulnerability, but he's sort of bull. Okay, time to just, wrap things up since we are approaching an hour once more. So we look at our buy list, which is probably a little bit, it would have been shorter if it wasn't for the chases being so broken. Is Storm, number 7, Iron Man, number 9, Weapon X, number 10, The Thing, number 11, World Breaker, number 13, Magneto, number 15, Thor, number 16, Storm, number 20, Dark Phoenix, number 21, Wolverine, number 22, Captain America, number 23, and Spider-Man, number 24. Yeah. If you're just going to drop your money, in all honesty, if I told you 5 figures that you had to have out of 10th anniversary, I know I sort of cheated because I didn't say this in the DC one. I would say the following. Number 5 is Storm. Number 4 would be Magneto. Number 3 would be Thor. Number 2 would be Spider-Man. And number 1 would be Dark Phoenix. And the Storm would be number 7. Storm, I apologize. Yeah, so, and number 21, Dark Phoenix, would be number 1. Definitely get those figures. Dark Phoenix and Iron Man in particular. I think that those are going to be the 2 figures that the meta is going to revolve around for a while. I'm glad Dark Phoenix is unique, because if I could pack 2 Dark Phoenixes on a team, watch out. Anyway, that's it for our show today. I'm really glad that you all are listening. You're probably listening to this on YouTube, and I appreciate that. Also, considering YouTube's rules, I'm probably not going to have music anymore. Sad to say. Yeah, I'm not going to have music anymore because it's not licensed. Some of the older shows are going to have music, but I have to go back through and make sure I disable advertisements, which may be tricky because I don't know if I can do that per show. Anyway, hit me up at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topic matters, anything like that. And I really want to hear from you all. Tell me if YouTube is a good migration. Tell me if you still want iTunes. If you still want iTunes, I signed up for SoundCloud and Spreaker. Um, and so I might be able to, between the two, please note I said between the two, have a functional RSS feed in which I'm able to do audio only of the show. So if you just want audio, you can pick it up from there. And note that if you follow one of them, most likely it's not going to be up to date. I would have to do it from both, and I would have to reconfigure um, my iTunes stuff. And again, I apologize for the inconvenience, and the stuff that's gone down with Blip happened really because I took advantage of the best deal possible, and I thought the deal was going to last forever. And then B, read a EULA, really do read EULAs, and I got caught up in the situation that I am in now because I didn't read a EULA. So by the time you hear this, all of the shows should be on YouTube. All the ones that were actually put into video format should be on YouTube. And the channel should be Starting Over Podcast on YouTube. So if you look it up, you should find it that way. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. Give me your feedback on the show, on this episode, and also DC 10th anniversary, on your tips and tricks for the set. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.